Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of appreciation to Abraham Mohammed, Adrian Quintana, Adam, Alistair Main, Billy Highvolt, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, Blue Ridge Rider, Chow Yun Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gaffer, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Owen Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin', Henrik86, Jeranism, Kirsten Smith, Liam and Edric, Life is Short, Matt, Missouri Bear, Nagara, Nathan Thompson, Naibai, Qatar Craig, Renee, Rob H, Sally Bellis, Silver Umbrella, Skeptic936, Texas Mike, The Real Gabster, Tina Baker, Tom Herkins, and Windrider. So thank you very much indeed to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now, we are currently in the interim stages between two live debates, so I'm going to raise the mic on both Discord and G Plus panels, and you can enjoy the dulcet tones of whoever the hell is in there while I set up for the next live show.
Coming for the carry on.
Hey, QE.
Well, there.
Hold on, they're back.
We're back. Well, the whole point I told Unorthodox last night was that I'm not stuck to a mathematical equation that has to prove itself physical because you said the Earth is a sphere. It's geometric and therefore must be physically measured, and it doesn't work.
Just out of interest, QE, when you conceived the modus tollens argument, when you were conceiving it, did you realise that it was going to be as devastating as this? I knew you realised it was a watertight argument, it's a logical consistency, but did you realise that this would be the result?
QE.
I think he was talking to someone.
He's vanished. Is he even still in
It's
here?
awesome.
Yeah, it's still in here. Well, that was very insightful. Thank you. Far more inspired than I was.
I would add to that question and say, does it start with modus tollens or does it start with modus ponens, right? Because you could establish your reasoning with modus ponens, right? And then jump to modus tollens, and then jump to their sphere math.
That's correct. You'd start with their...
Yeah, but hang on. Remember the difference between the two. One allows you to infer, whereas the other one mandates that it's true. You're better off with modus tollens if you can, because modus ponens is inference rather than mandatory.
Wrong. That's incorrect.
Bollocks.
No, I think modus ponens is just if this... Isn't it just like if P then Q, P therefore Q?
Yeah.
Boom. I mean, it's
Nathan, get my thing on screen for John.
The same thing over again.
Oh, here we go. This dissension in the ranks. Yeah, go ahead, Anthony. Get you whatever on screen.
Modus tollens versus modus. This is on the fly. I might not get the answer straight away.
I was just about to say,
right.
You're going to challenge him and his understandings of logic based on the Google search you're about to do now. Okay?
Yeah, I'm doing this on the fly. I know that one is inference and the other one is mandatory. Hang on.
It's only the P
If the
statement
two
that's
are
inferred.
related-
Hold on. This is a conversation you and I had only the other day. And the example was with unicorns and chopping off thumbs. So the inferred part isn't the logical consistency. It's just the or assertion of P. So if you're using modus ponens and you're asserting if geometric horizon then sphere, geometric horizon therefore sphere, well, it's inferred. Both statements, in fact, are inferred. But the logical consistency doesn't change just because you've got the P as assumption.
Modus ponens, the rule of logic, which states that if a conditional statement, if P then Q, if the conditional statement is accepted and the antecedent holds, then the consequence Q may be inferred. Right? Let's contrast that to modus ponens. Hopefully, I'll get an equivalent one. The rule of logic, which states that if a conditional statement, if P then Q is accepted and the consequent does not hold, then the negation of the antecedents can be inferred. That's
correct.
To what I was expecting. And the consequent does not hold, then the negation of the antecedent can be inferred.
Yeah.
Maybe I stand corrected. Give me a minute on this. Let me see if I can find something else that supports it.
If you don't have the Q and the Q is necessitated, then you can infer that the antecedent isn't correct. So you debunk the logic if you don't have the Q. If unicorns then if a unicorn chops off my finger, P, then I will bleed, Q. Well, even in your explanation, it's great in terms of how it's phrased it, because it means that you first must accept the premise of unicorns to be true for my statement to be true. And then when I go on to say, a unicorn has chopped off my finger, therefore I am bleeding. Well, that's perfectly sound logic. Again, all things assumed, i.e. you've accepted the premise of my P, in this case unicorns, and their ability to chop off fingers. Now, if you have the reverse of that, you've got a situation where, in that statement, you've got to have a finger bleeding. If there isn't a finger bleeding, or there isn't any blood, then there's no way a unicorn's come and chopped a finger off. Again, all things considered.
Let me justify why I say it. When Dark Star asked, is it inductive or is it deductive? Let me think about that. I had to look it up because I thought it was really difficult to give an answer there, because I think you could probably argue both of them, depending on what mood you were in. And absolutely, Rumpus could argue them both. So I looked them up to see what the actual answer was, because I thought, I'm not sure which one that is, and I'm not sure if anybody else really... But not that it matters. I don't think it matters. But I wanted to see whether or not it was... let me look up inductive reasoning.
Well, wait a second. Just listen to yourself. Listen to the argument you met, and tell me, is this inductive or deductive? Here it is. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet.
That would be...
So let's just do the whole modus tollens. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, P, then every horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, Q. Not Q, because the horizon distance is greater than 9.41 miles, therefore not P. The Earth is not a sphere. Does that sound inductive or deductive to you?
So I would say it's inductive. If you
accept it's deductive.
Yeah, but look,
no, it's deductive.
Yeah, you're deducing that in the end.
Let me answer, please. With the definition I happen to have on screen, it happens to say it's a method of reasoning in which the premises are viewed as supplying some evidence for the truth of the conclusion. This is in contrast to deductive reasoning, which says the process of reasoning from one or more statements, the premises, to reach a logically certain conclusion.
Yeah, it's definitely
they're both
that.
very similar.
No, it's definitely deductive.
Process of reasoning from one or more statements to reach a logically certain conclusion. Whereas inductive is the premises are viewed as supplying some evidence for the truth of the conclusion. So it's to do with the amount of evidence that's presented.
No, the logical consistency
why
of
are we
your
still
statement.
talking about this?
It is kind of non sequitur, but it's interesting. So it's getting discussed now, QE, because if you start dicing this up with someone like Dark Star, somebody's causing feedback, whoever the fuck that is, Travis.
Sorry.
If we start thrashing this out when it's an argument about the actual logical consistency, in other words, the argument about the position and its geometric impossibility as a geometric horizon, if you start dicing up inductive versus deductive logic and going into the definitions, the track is so long gone that essentially the person who's done that and had that discussion has won, because they take the conversation so far away from the actual argument. But in this instance, well, we're not really arguing with Anthony Riley, aka Sleeping Warrior, about whether or not we have a geometric horizon. He's just saying, well, that was quite an interesting question, even though it was utilised as an obfuscation. So it's an interesting enough discussion point. But it's definitely deductive, Anthony.
I was curious to the answer. Like I said, I absolutely agree. It doesn't change the point at all. The point he brought up was because he didn't want to answer the question. But I went away to look at what the answer was because I didn't know the answer. I was like, I wonder if there's a slant here that I don't see. And when I looked it up, I thought, right, one of them seems to give the conclusion that is conclusive, whereas the other one is inferred.
You're deducing it based on the premise of their physicality and the constraints it has in the geometry. So it's a deductive logical consistency argument, if you want to phrase it so. With so much attached, it's just not needed, though.
No, I agree.
Well, we can't argue this because the ballers are dead.
Anthony, I posted the deductive and inductive in Master B. It says deductive arguments are either valid or invalid.
I'm glad you didn't allow them to obfuscate with it.
Really hard, especially when they're ad homing the crap out of you, because essentially you have to let the ad hom slide. So, you know, they let's say they accuse you of being a murderer, and you're in the middle of a debate about something, and their ad hom is completely non sequitur. You've got to kind of let it wash over you, water off a duck's back, to keep yourself on track with the actual argument, and it is hard.
Yeah, and normally the rule of logic or the rule of debate is that the one that makes the ad hom attack generally loses straight away. But for some reason in this topic, they're allowed to get away with it, and it's like, I don't know how did. Because can you imagine if Neil deGrasse Tyson was debating some atheist on evolution or whatever, and the other guy turns around and calls him a wanker, and then Neil deGrasse Tyson carried on? He wouldn't, would he?
No. The reason it's acceptable here is because we're programmed and conditioned to accept it as reasonable. So in the same way the other day we were debating about gender versus sex, and what is the societal standards that are laid down that we have to conform to. Well, it's where somebody who's trans will use that to their advantage because they know that the societal structure of the rules and regs for that particular aspect of what we're talking about is governed. Well, this isn't. It's not only not governed, it's encouraged. The ridicule, I mean. So the ridicule and the ad homs is positively encouraged. And it's so that everyone's got something to fall back on. When they lose, you can just use an ad hom, and that's perfectly acceptable. It isn't in the standards of debate. Half of them don't know what an ad hom is. They just say it. They don't actually know what an ad hominem attack is. Yes, the Dark Star guy, perfect example. He's like, asked whether or not the horizon's physical, and his response is to critique the show. And I said, well, that's not addressing the argument, it's just an ad hominem. He said, no, I'm talking about you and how you produce your show. I'm like, yeah, that's the definition of an ad hom. You're not addressing the argument, you're addressing me, the man, ad hominem. Well, that's what an ad hominem fallacy is, but it's a fallacy. It's a fallacious form of reasoning. Rather than address the argument, attack the man.
Are we recording?
You were just trying to get under your skin yesterday.
Yes, we are. Say again, Rogers?
That was Travis.
Sorry, Travis.
Oh, it was me. I said he was just trying to get under your skin yesterday. That's all.
Get under our skin? No, he wasn't trying to do that. He knew that he was checkmated 6 days from Sunday.
Yeah,
That's what happened. and he tried the red herring fallacy away from the argument.
Yep.
Well,
Like
he
a
didn't even
weasel.
want to engage in the debate in the beginning. He just wanted to come in and talk shit. I don't know. That's what I got out of it.
He's a weasel.
Either way, it's funny. We still don't have anybody that can recite the argument. That's a major problem.
You hit it. You are absolutely correct. Have them recite the modus tollens argument before they refute it, and then you'll see how silly it sounds. Okay?
Yeah. Also, just so people are clear, this is the Black Swan is not a flat Earth, or it's not being utilized as a flat Earth proof. It's being utilized,
Right.
just like John just said in the Modus Tollens, as a globe killer.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I agree with you there.
Yeah, he's correct. He's correct. It's a globe of 3959 mile radius killer. That is correct. If you want to get technical, that's correct.
But once you
Well,
relinquish
that's what these
yourself
ballers say.
I still treat it as a flat Earth proof, and I'll give you my justification. If
Okay.
all of your mathematics are based on the assumption we're on a sphere, and you have standard geometry that you can utilize to measure things, but that utilization has one singular presupposition in it, this R value, and you remove that presupposition, i.e. you utilize this globe killer, what are you then left with when you remove that presupposition? Well, you're left with...
Now you're stepping outside the argument.
Yeah,
That's another argument.
Absolutely.
fair enough. Fair enough. I'll concede.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as you hold on a second, Trav. As soon as you stepped out of that 3959 miles, now it's a logical follow-on argument. That's correct. I mean, that's the next obvious question. But it's too late for them because they've already established that the Earth is 3959. There are no take-backsies here. Right? Once you destroy that, then they're lying. We don't live on a sphere or a ball with a radius of that size. Now, the next question is, what do we live on? That's the next question.
That's rhetorical.
Thanks.
Well, it's not
Listen,
rhetorical.
John, I've got a question.
Well, it's not rhetorical because there's an answer. So, well, what do we live on then? Well, if the Earth is not a sphere because it's been demolished and we don't have a geometric horizon, etc., then what do we live on? Well, the Earth is obviously and observably flat. There is an answer. It's definitely not rhetorical.
I know, but I wanted to get to my question for John.
Hurry up, man. My breakfast is coming. I'm getting really hungry.
Do you do personal, you know what DJs take personal requests? I want you to do a deliberate misspeak if you would.
I can't do that. That's against my constitution.
Next time you cite, if the Earth, it must be no more than 1.22, whatever it is that you say. Do a deliberate misspeak and say 1.21 gigawatts.
I just want to clear that up, right? It's gigawatts, and gigawatts is one of the production team of Back to the Future contacting somebody by phone and getting the technical data and scribbling it all down on a notepad, and then somewhere Chinese whispers, however you want to describe it, it just got relayed to the cast incorrectly as gigawatts, which is completely incorrect. But now it's like permeated into pop culture, and it makes me shudder every time I hear someone saying it.
But isn't that what
I love it? It is incorrect.
To Back to the
right,
Future, it is absolutely correct.
It's correct because it's a concept. If we can believe it's correct and it's been said in a movie conceptually, then technically gigawatts is right by Brenda's standards.
I'm sure that was how he said it. Did he say it that way?
It has to be gigawatts because that's what he used to power the flux capacitor. I mean, it's simple.
It wouldn't work with gigawatts, man.
Oh, it doesn't sound as good with gigawatts.
It's got more cowbell with gigawatts.
Yeah, it does. It sounds way better.
Especially how he was running around the house. 1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah.
And what frequency?
Great series of movies right there.
On a serious note, how many mertz was the frequency?
No idea.
How many mertz with an M?
It hurts me to think about it.
I have no idea.
If I just misspeak and rephrase Hertz to Mertz, does that give you more cowbell?
Yeah, that's a false equivalence fallacy, though.
If you created a DeLorean that can go back in time, then yeah.
Okay.
I'd say that's cool.
If I measured it in mamps, would that have more cowbell?
Then showed Hufflepuff come out the shadows. Who said mamps?
God damn, is that already a thing? Bloody hellfire. Why did they use an M? Why didn't they use an L?
Why is this turning into a sine wave dismissal?
Oh, God.
I just wanted to say 1.21 gigawatts on purpose.
Sine wave dismissal. That was brilliant.
What did he say?
1.21 gigawatts.
Did you all miss that?
Hold on a second. I didn't hear 10th. What did he say?
He said it's turning into a sine wave dismissal. A sine wave dismissal.
A sine wave dismissal?
Instead of a hand wave dismissal.
Wow.
That's sharp. That is very sharp.
You do realise that you're becoming equivalent to David Hasselhoff. Is that uncool that he's become cool?
Absolutely. 10th man's gone way beyond uncool and verged into super cool. There's no doubt about that, Anthony. You're absolutely right. Old, like dad puns have become cool thanks to 10th man.
All right, I missed the first show, so I need somebody to go ahead and repeat and debrief or in brief me.
Gigawatts was the Mandela effect.
Brenda demonstrated herself as being inept again.
A liar.
Oh.
An outright liar. Just like Rumpus. They all are. They're all resorting to lies now. It's sad.
I did hear Anthony ask her if I conjured something, my Narnia horizon. That's where I heard. That's where I popped the video up. So that was pretty funny. So she said that yes, it does exist. What was it? 11 pixels below the geometric horizon.
Yeah, I said if it exists in my definition, does that mean it exists? And she said yes. And I said, but only within my definition, right? She's like, well, yes. And I'm like, right. So that means that the geometric horizon only exists within your paradigm, your model. And that was what Nathan perfectly closed the show out on. It was ace.
It's
Brenda came in and cited Andrew Thomas Young, San Diego State EDU, and then for a quick summary, said that scientific proof is what she accepts. And I said, because she talked about 3 horizons, and we said, well, those are imaginary. 2 of them. The only one that's real is the geometric one. So I cited Andrew Thomas Young with the 1.22 square root. And I said, so if your imaginary doesn't match with the science, what do you do then? And that's where she lost it. It became funny.
Well, she also described consensus
There is
reality.
no science.
Yeah, correct.
Sorry, go ahead.
She also described consensus reality quite well. So what she described was people having an idea of what reality is and then getting a consensus of everybody's ideas about what reality is. And then once you've got those ideas, you see which of them match with reality, and that then becomes the reality. Well, that is very much the Western world's way of viewing reality. If everybody stands under the idea of us being on a sphere, and the way the mathematics of the sphere work with reality, then we're on a sphere. That is consensus reality. That's how they view the world. They being globeheads, because they're brainwashed by the standards of society, and the standards of society are consensus driven, not scientific driven.
Well, no, yeah, right.
Did you guys catch when she said you base your observation on a hypothesis? completely getting that backwards?
No, missed it.
She got a pummeling on that as well. Said it was part of the scientific method. She said, well, this is an observation and therefore it's science. It's part of the method. And I said, no, it's not. Making an observation is definitely not part of the scientific method. Observation of phenomena when you're trying to establish cause and effect reasoning. So phenomena, observation, yeah. Observation, no.
I thought she said that you get the observation from the hypothesis. I thought that's what she said.
Yeah, she did at one point, yeah. Definitely said that. Because I was like,
When two of her horizons negate one of her horizons, it's over right there.
Well, there are actually 5 horizons according to National Geographic, right? But they're all speaking to one horizon, the geometrical horizon. You want me to go through them?
Yes, please. You sent me those in Skype, and I had a little chuckle, I must admit, because I'll just reiterate what you've just said. I'm just echoing what you've just said. But yeah, they're all slightly different descriptions with slightly different references, but ultimately they're all describing the same thing. They're all describing the geometric horizon. Yes, please go ahead.
They're giving different names to them. Yep. You want me to go through them?
Yes, please. Yes.
So, I got National Geographic and Encyclopedia Britannica. I want to do one with that, and I'll identify it when I get there. So, National Geographic, the local horizon, also called the geometrical horizon, is the visible boundary between the Earth and the sky. You got that one? Let me say that again. The local horizon, also called the geometrical horizon, is the visible boundary between the Earth and the sky. So keep that in mind, visible boundary. The next one, the geographic horizon, is the apparent boundary between the Earth and the sky. That's the geometrical horizon. The sea level horizon is the geographic horizon at sea level. Well, that means it's the geometric horizon. National Geographic, again, astronomical horizon. I'm going to give 2 different definitions here. One from National Geographic, the next one from Encyclopedia Britannica. From National Geographic, the astronomical horizon is the imaginary horizontal plane always at a 90-degree angle from the observer's zenith, the point directly above the observer. Astronomical horizons are great circles that surround the observer. Encyclopedia Britannica, horizon in astronomy, the boundary where the sky seems to meet the ground or sea, aka the geometric horizon. Last definition, National Geographic. The true horizon is the imaginary plane that passes through the center of the Earth perpendicular to its radius. From orbit, the true horizon is spherical following the shape of the Earth. They're all the geometric horizon. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I'll be near all week.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now, we are joined by Sleeping Warrior, Righteous Force, Chocolate Sane, 10th Man, and Quantum Eraser, along with a whole bunch of people in Discord. So, welcome one and all.
Good morning.
Increase the enthusiasm now!
Hi, Nathan.
More
How are you today?
Yo.
Let's do a bit of housekeeping. Any evidence of a physical Earth curve edge capable of geometric measurement?
Only in the globe reification model.
Right, any signs of Earth curvature?
No.
Only in the globe reification model.
This is going to be a consistent theme, I can tell. Any signs of axial rotation?
Only in the globe reification model.
Any signs of an axis?
Only in a globe reification.
Only in the globe reification model.
Seems like a good enough answer for all these housekeeping questions. Only in the globe reification model.
Yeah, I'm not going to stop them. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Shout out to Paul Voigt.
Sure. Yeah, there is in the globe reification model.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No.
Of course there is in the globe reification model. Come on.
Shout out retracted, by the way.
Do you know what? I was just going to... I'm so glad you were paying attention.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No.
All right, no, but if there was, that's how they build their globe reification model.
But that's how they build their
work.
global reification model, based on pseudoscience asserted by astronomy, cosmology, and astrophysics. Yep. But that's a bit of a mouthful. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
The globe reification model gives us a distance.
That's true. That's true. You have a distance to the sun in the globe reification model. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container? Let me guess.
Of course, via gravity in the globe reification model.
The first part of your statement wasn't true. Gravity is not used in the current heliocentric rhetoric to hold on gas pressure. You're not defying the second law of thermodynamics or entropy with gravity. That simply is not the case, I'm sorry. I know that there's lots of people in the trenches that argue that, but it isn't the case.
Oh, did they change that narrative now?
Yeah, about 100 years ago.
So gas molecules bend space-time too? Over?
No.
It's the uneven distribution of mass that bends the curvature of space-time, or it causes the curvature of space-time.
Right, the mass of gas?
No, the uneven distribution
molecules?
of, not the mass itself, the uneven distribution of.
Do you see the problem? It's not speaking in any way to entropy. Entropy is a completely separate actual natural law, as opposed to the bending of a conceptual medium. So these things are, very distant from one another. And this conceptual medium being bent in no way affects the entropy that occurs in gas. So they're completely, they're separate. One is not overcoming the other, even though it's argued here. I understand why you're saying that. Any more? Gas pressure without a container?
9.
Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Definitely not.
Sure, someone mentioned something about a model or something with evidence of this. Maybe I'm just imagining it. R value? Anybody at all?
No.
I was waiting for only in the globe reification model, but it didn't come that
I
time.
know.
Hey ho.
Only in the globe reification model.
Perfect. Excellent timing.
Actually, it was shocking timing. We were waiting. You left us hanging.
That concludes the housekeeping.
Nathan, I've got a problem. It's a serious problem, though. I might need a cream for it.
Actually, can I say, actually, for that last one, it's especially in the glow reification model.
Yes, that's why I was waiting so long. The R value, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was in the middle of reading something.
Look, Anthony's trying to tell us about his hemorrhoids. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, I never specified which one it was. But anyway, yeah, I have a bit of a problem, and I might need a bit of cream for it. So, Bob the Fallacy Guy, he's done I think he's done a 2 of a 3-part series where he's brought up a video of mine from about 8 months ago, and it was about a bloke, a professor or a lecturer of some kind at Wentworth University or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had 3 bowling balls in a fish tank full of water, and they had different weights to them, right? Or rather, different values of mass, right? Weight, whatever the phraseology should be. And what he was demonstrating is that one of them sank, one of them floated, and the other one was kind of semi-submerged. A little bit like my egg test. And I think it might have actually influenced my egg test motivation at the time. I can't quite remember, but he's brought it up because he's found the bloke that actually did the words to the advert that I was citing. And it's almost like when Fight the Flat Earth got in touch with George Musa. And rather than support Fight the Flat Earth, he told him that gravity was not a force, but you can think of it as a force. And obviously we use that all the time. So Bob the Fallacy Guy has now found this guy. And what's interesting is, do you remember when I said Fight the Flat Earth guy, Musa, is going to have to do one of 3 things. He's going to have to either back down and change his story, which he's never going to do because that instantly discredits him, or he's going to have to maintain his position and politely correct Craig, which is what he actually did, or something else that was a bit unforeseen. Well, this guy is in the same position because Bob the Fallacy Guy has brought this guy on camera and he's got him to state his position with regards to like the video that I cited from. But he didn't do what George Musa did. George Musa stood his ground, reasserted his position, and then really professionally but extremely politely disagreed with Craig. Craig took it as a victory for him somehow and claimed victory anyway, but we can all see that he was politely and professionally disagreeing. Bob the Fallacy Guy has not done the same thing, though. He's actually changed his position from what he said in the video. His original video was correct. When Bob the Fallacy Guy's got him on camera, he's totally changed his position. Now, the original video was about bowling balls and the density of the bowling balls relative to the medium that they were in, and they were all in a fish tank full of water. So his original video correctly cited that density was the cause of the positioning of the balls relative to the medium. And that was what I cited. Density, that'll be the density, or whatever it was that I cited at the time. Now, and I said it because it wasn't gravity. But Bob the Fallacy Guy has got in touch with this guy in his home address, got him on camera, and now he's gone back over his word, and he's not said that it was density that was the problem. He's changed the independent variable, and he's made it gravity. And I'm like, you absolute idiot. So my problem is, how should we deal with this? Because what I'd like to do is get the popcorn out, the rum and coke, and sit round, and we'll all go through it and just laugh at him because he's a moron. He's changed his independent variable. He had it right in his original video, but it's almost as if he's been coerced and blackmailed and bullied into adding gravity as his independent variable. But get this, he's not added gravity as bendy spacetime. He's done what Danny Faulkner's done. He's talked about gravity and how it's the real world, and he's not even mentioned Einstein. He's referred to Newtonian principles for gravity. And we all know that they were replaced by Einstein in 1915. So not only have we got a guy that's changed his independent variable and changed his position just to accommodate Bob the Fallacy Guy, but we've also got a guy now that's literally incorrectly citing the current position as science for gravity. So the question is, what should we do with this moron? Because he needs to be addressed so that our lot see how funny it is and laugh at it. But also the ballers get to see how disingenuous the ballers have got to be because they've managed to bully this guy to change his position. What should we do?
You just do as you've done. Point out that he's using 100-year out-of-date rhetoric. Well, it's
I know,
not.
but he's dealt with about 8 different points in this video, and it's worth probably going through them at some point somehow. But I'm not quite sure whether to dedicate a video to it or just sit around and laugh at it as a collective group because it's funny.
Bring it up. We'll go through if you can scrub through it. And I don't know how easy that is to do while you're actually connected to the Hangout, though. Like I say, if you want to have a quick look at it, listen to some of the assertions he makes, I'm more than happy.
Well, to be honest, the assertions are like visual because the quality of the sound recording is terrible. It's like, like the worst microphone in the history of man, like ever. This guy's got the worst microphone ever, and it's actually inaudible. You can't really you can hear, but you can't hear words. So Bob the Fallacy guy's had to actually subtitle it, so you can't even hear what's being said. It's that bad. But it's just interesting. I mean, there's too much to go through, and I haven't prepped it. I've not got the timestamps because they're all long-winded videos, and it would dominate the whole Hangout because it's not straightforward. But I just wanted to let people know that there's this really fantastic position where he's found a bloke in science, a bit like George Musa, but rather than George Musa's, like George Musa, where he maintains his position, this guy's changed his position from the original. He's kind of discredited himself immediately. And it's just definitely worth pointing out and addressing somehow at some point. But I don't think we should do it on a live Hangout now because it'll just take up the whole show.
He found him in science? Really? Can you show me where he found him inside science?
Who found him?
Can't find things in science. It's this nonsensical kind of jargon speak about a guy with a name tag and how you found things in science because you found it in a book that's got the title science on it. And then you say, well, no, it's in science. It's not that. It's just the phraseology of Bob the Science Guy in terms of where he's found this guy and therefore his credibility with science.
Well, his credibility is naff because he's changed his position.
Who is he?
It's like, imagine if I did my egg test, right? And I clearly pointed out my independent
variable. Can you hear me? Is my mic working?
Not really, but you are standing on me at this moment. Better be important, John.
I said it clearly. Who is he? Name, title.
I didn't actually say that, to be honest. I'll find you his name.
Thank you.
Every time I put in I always have to type in Bob the Science Guy and actually think about it. Because I always put it in as Bob the Fallacy Guy. Right. Oh, he's done part 3 4 hours ago. Right. His name is Dr. Russell Pinizotto. Doctor. Another doctor, right? Citing Newtonian mechanics, Newtonian mechanical gravity.
Doctor of what?
Einstein.
You said he's a doctor? He's a PhD of what?
Don't know. It just says we begin our series on crushing the solar flat Earth by introducing Dr. Russell Pinizotto. He doesn't say in the description what he is, and he's got subtitles. So I'd have to scrub through it and see if I can read it. But I can find out.
Yeah, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. Somebody find out who this bozo is. Thanks.
Doctor what?
Dr. Russell. SSL, Pinizotto. So it's PINIZZOTO. Sorry, OTTO. All right, I've got him on screen here.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Carlow University.
What?
Is that him? I'm asking as opposed to saying.
I'm not sure.
If he's from Pittsburgh, then we're going after him.
I'm just astonished that he cited gravity as as Newtonian. Didn't even mention Einstein. He said what he actually said was because we can calculate the math, because we can calculate the effect with both Einsteinian and Newtonian. He said we use them interchangeably or words to that effect, which might well be true, but we're not talking about the calculation bit. We're talking about the cause, what's making it do it. So he's on about mathematically calculating it, and just because 2 + 2 = 4, but so does 1 + 3 = 4, he says that it doesn't really matter which maths we use because they give us pretty much the same result. Okay, but we're not on about the maths. We're on about what's doing what. If anything's doing something, what is it, and how do we demonstrate it? So he's making a non sequitur point. The civil engineers guild or whatever it is that he's in doesn't matter. A civil engineer it really doesn't matter. What we're interested in is what's causing something. So calculating for something or graphing it out or whatever it is that he says he does, who cares?
Okay, I think I've got him.
Somebody said, Nathan,
yeah.
Nathan, did you say he was from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
I think so. If this is the right guy, I think he's his PhD is in material science. He's also got a master's in astronomy and a bachelor's in physical chemistry. I think.
Okay, the physical chemistry works for me. The other two are pseudosciences, but go ahead.
That's what I've got. If it's the right guy, I'm not saying it is. It seems like it is by this. I think I've got the right guy.
I will not tolerate anyone from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to be a pseudoscientist. So we're going after him. Guns a-blazing. Okay?
Yeah, I think we should go after
bang, bang.
Black Swan.
But I just wonder whether... I mean, I didn't do this with George Musa because I didn't feel the need. I didn't feel the need to interact with him because I got everything that I needed out of his hangout with Craig. But maybe we should speak to this guy. Or maybe we should just completely ignore him and do what we did with Craig's guy and just pick out the bits that are the most relevant.
Wait. So let me get this straight. So one of these clowns brings out a citation in the form of George Musa that says that gravity is not a force. And the other clown brings out a citation in the form of whoever this guy is that says gravity is a force?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But it's just like that guy, Danny Faulkner, referencing gravity and not even mentioning Einstein. It's like, you should know that Einstein replaced Newtonian mechanical gravitation in 1915. But he doesn't describe it that way. He describes it in a different way. I'm going to have to look through it, and I don't know how best to deal with it, because if I do a dedicated video, the subtitles don't go on the video when you download the video. So is it worth doing a dedicated video or just doing a hangout so that I don't have to try and mess around with the subtitles myself?
Couldn't you just do it and read out the subtitles?
Do it now, you mean?
Well, they're going to be on screen, right? And like you've already justified this, it'll take you too long to find the particular section that's relevant.
Yeah, I haven't prepped it yet, and I've only watched the first one. I've not watched the second one yet, and he's got his third one out, and I'm like, right, I've got enough material there that I can do something with. The question is, what if anything? Should I do anything, or should I just completely ignore him? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, he's changed his position from his video. Oh, and the other thing is, he claims his video was satire. He said it was a joke, a recruitment joke. Bloody wasn't. It was for Wentworth University or something. Wentworth something. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was somewhat professional sounding, and he was doing it in the context of his job. But now he's claiming it was a joke, and I'm like, are you seriously kidding me? Surely that's not true.
You know what appears on page 2? I'm pretty sure it's the right guy. What appears on page 2 is you with his bowling balls.
What do you mean it appears on page 2? Page 2 of what?
So when I search him by spelled name as you gave it me, what I find is on page 2 of the Google search is you, and it says relative density, and I can't see the rest of the thumbnail, it's cut off, but then there's a picture in the top right with the 3 bowling balls in a fish tank and your face.
Oh, let's have a look. Yeah, that's the guy. You've got him.
Sorry, say that again.
And go ahead.
I just missed what was said less because it was a load of noise here, that was all.
No way, I've just found a link here to you, Nathan. FlatEarthTribe.com, tag Nathan Oakley. What's this all about?
I don't know. Anyway, so this dude, pseudoscientist that he is, What's our conclusion so we can move on?
Well,
we're going after
the
him.
video correctly. But the guy's 70 though. Maybe we shouldn't.
Who cares? 70? What's that got to do with anything?
Well, I don't know. I think there's like limits perhaps to...
Why? So Bob the fallacy guy seeked out a 70-year-old to try to debunk us. Is that what's going on?
The other question I've got is...
Age is irrelevant.
It is irrelevant. You said he varied his independent variable of gravity, or claimed that was the independent variable. Did he say it in those terms?
No. What he did in his actual video that he claims was satire, he correctly demonstrated that it was the density of the bowling balls relative to the medium that caused whether or not they were floating, sinking, or half floating, and that was true. That was correct. But what he's now done is, because Bob the fallacy guy has got onto him, he's now said it was gravity doing it, not the density itself. Or if he's either said that it was gravity, or he said that it was the density with the gravity. Now, if that's the case, then he's correlating. But in his original video, he was correct. It was the density. He didn't mention gravity at any point.
So he's somehow
Nathan.
trying to explain how gravity kept that bowling ball that was floating at the top of the tank, that was keeping that up there because gravity.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying that gravity did it.
Right.
Nathan, were you under the impression that this gentleman said independent variable? Nathan,
What did you say?
hello.
Did he ever say that was an experiment?
I can't remember. I haven't watched the video for a long time, but I'd have to revisit my own video to see what he actually said. But
Because I remember the video. I don't remember him saying it's an experiment. I just remember him floating 3 different densities of bowling balls, and look what 3 different densities do. Like, I don't know.
I remember picking up on the use of the word density, because he didn't use the word gravity, and that was the or buoyancy. He didn't use the word buoyancy either, and it was the reason. That was the reason why I used the video, because it was more of what he didn't say that was important rather than what he did say. But obviously, Bob the fallacy guy's got onto him and probably said, "Hey, you better change your position, otherwise we're going to call you a flat earther." And he must have been that scared. He's thought, I'll do it, because I don't know why he would change his position from what he said in the video. And then distance himself from the video being satire or whatever he said. I think he said it was jovial humor or something like that. And I'm like, it bloody wasn't. It was supposed to be a promotional video for a college or something that you were working for at the time. It was definitely done in a professional capacity.
Why'd you do
Hey,
it?
any ballers? Any ballers in Discord, Nathan?
I don't know, but I've just got to check, Anthony. Why'd you make me do it? Why have you just divined the series of events leading up to him changing his position? Why have you just done that?
Why have I just done what?
You just described this whole little play where globe earthers sit him down, I'm going to elaborate, put a little white light in front of him and tell him that he's going to be deemed a flat earther unless he changes his position. You've just plucked all of that. All of that was just plucked out your ass, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I think they've done. Why would he change his position? Can you imagine George
At least he's
Musa
honest and say, I took it out of my ass. It's funny.
Can you imagine George Musa changing his position because Fight the Flat Earth managed to persuade him to do so, right? He didn't change his position. He stood his ground and said, no, this is the position. Now, whether Craig claimed victory or not from that is irrelevant, but the point is he didn't change his position. But this guy's clearly changed his position, and it's like, this is interesting. This is different. This is a new ground, a new style. Let's deal with this somehow.
Well, we're dealing with a lot of change of positions lately, aren't we? That's not the only change of position we've had to deal with. There's apparently a pretty big one where they thought they had a geometric horizon and they don't. So it's not the first time we've seen this.
Wow.
Anthony, did you say
Can we
that came
please
out of your
confirm-
rear?
Oh my God. can we please confirm that he's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, please? Because this is the most important detail about this whole story.
No, that was just one of the universities he attended. That was my mistake. I don't know where he's from. Sorry.
See if we can find him. Dr. Russell Pinzento.
I know where you were going, Tim.
Technically,
hold on. The moment was there, wasn't it?
Hold on. I've got to stop what's going on. Aren't we technically doxing this guy now?
Not really.
Well, we are.
Yeah, but he's 70. He's
Hold on. So, what? Because he's 70, it's okay to now dox him live on my show? No. I think we should.
No. We're not doxing him
now. Is that okay?
If he's in the public domain and he's making videos in the public domain, then you're not doxing him. I don't care.
No, I agree. Right. Listen. The answer to your question. He was working at Wentworth Institute of Technology for 6 years. He's the Dean of the Faculty of Science and Engineering at Merrimack College, Carlow University, Pittsburgh, and Summit in Phippsburg. P-H-I-P-P, Phippsburg.
Riley, does the guy in his video, does he have his name in it? Like, does he say who he is in the video? Is it his channel?
Yeah. No, he doesn't give his name. Right, let me just find out where this Phippsburg is. He's in the area of Portland.
Because if he doesn't give his name, how did Bob the Fallacy guy find him? That's what I'm curious about.
No, I've got his name. We know his name. He's working currently in Portland, Maine. Russ Pinizotto. What we'll do, John, is we'll go through it. Because he's got 3 10-minute videos that we can just go through, and I'll scrub out the stuff that we don't need. Oh, I can't because it's subtitled. Can't hear what he says.
So he has videos that are inaudible.
Yeah, it's inaudible. He's got a microphone worse than anybody in the topic.
Huh. All right. Well, if he's not from Pittsburgh, then I really don't care what you do with him.
Fair enough.
Well, just trigger words. Why? What's wrong with Pittsburgh from your perspective?
I am from Pittsburgh, and I will not tolerate anyone from Pittsburgh being a pseudoscientist. Okay. That's why.
Yeah. The town of Pittsburgh is not big enough for the two of them.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Still getting very territorial.
Home of the world champion Pittsburgh Steelers. Black Swan.
Any ballers in Discord?
Any ballers around? Look, 10th man's itching.
Yeah, I'm here. Anthony
well,
was doing this.
Ball, except for the presupposed one. So, any believers of the presupposed ball it would be the better question.
I think the question was, is there any ballers out there from Pittsburgh? That was the question. Somebody's trying to set up a fight.
Where's Pittsburgh?
Ding, ding, knockout.
Pennsylvania. Any ballers in Discord? Pipe up.
Now, they have to specifically be from Pittsburgh, not Pennsylvania. I'm not taking on the whole damn state. Just Pittsburgh.
No, they don't. Anybody at all on the ball side. We might not have any ballers, 10th man. I'm really sorry. I haven't really looked down the list.
Boy, the Black Swan sure took care of a lot of people.
Left. They've all run away. Sorry, 10th man. Going to be a quiet time.
I think we have to switch. I think we have to go to the after show and then ballers. There'll be ballers in there, but they'll be on mute.
It's interesting how the ballers join, sit there in silence, claim that they're on protest, but they daren't speak. The reality is they daren't speak, but they're claiming that they're on protest because they know that they can't speak. So the only way around this that they can have is to claim that they're on protest instead, because we all know that they can't talk. It's just a shame that there's no conversation with any credible evidence to support the assertion that we live on a sphere.
Who's claiming they're on protest? Who's claiming they're protesting, and what are they protesting?
Pardon?
what's this protest? This is news to me. 12 months ago, I had people protesting and claiming that they didn't want to be here when they sat here. Not some nonsense like that, but this is a new one on me. So what protest? What's being protested?
I don't know. I can't think of any reason why they wouldn't want to defend their religion. It's like, come on, guys. Live on a ball, don't we? The whole body of science has proved it for thousands of years. And they sit there on mute. I don't really get it.
Well, I think it's time to play Rumpus's clip that Kiwi put together then.
I want to play that clip.
Meow, 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 meow.
You guys,
Meow, meow, meow.
did you guys like that?
Play it if you want me to.
Loved it.
No one claims the geometric horizon is where the apparent horizon is. When
Sorry, we've only got one horizon. We don't have two horizons. We don't have an apparent horizon and a geometric horizon. We just have a horizon. It's just not geometric!
Correct.
So we don't have a geometric horizon on a sphere, Rumpus? And, by the way, the geometric horizon is apparent!
Mute, 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 mute.
Yeah, well then, welcome to Flat Earth. Your model of a sphere Earth requires a geometric horizon to obscure things in the distance, for boats to go over, and to bend at altitude. If you are now disclaiming that we do not have a geometric horizon, then we don't have Earth curve geometry.
I told you 2.5 years ago how this worked, and you didn't remember.
You've just made it plain we don't have a geometric horizon. So what geometric position, moron? You don't have one!
We do, we do, we do.
Oh, so now we do. Only 30 seconds ago, ladies and gentlemen, he made it plain we don't have a geometric horizon, and now we do, we do.
No, we don't have a geometric horizon.
The fact that this flip-flopping retard rumpus has gone from it being geometric as a necessity, as per your model, to us not having a geometric horizon, and we never have, to now it being geometric again. If you can't recognise his flip-flopping and orthodox, it's because you're as retarded as him.
So we don't have a geometric horizon, then we do, and now we don't have a geometric horizon, right? When are you running for office of retardia?
It's a function of geometry.
No, it's not, because we don't have a geometric horizon. So the horizon is absolutely not a function of geometry. It's not geometric. We've debunked that with this image called the Black Swan, where we demonstrate that if it was physical and geometric, it would be in an impossible location based on the parameters of your own geometry. So we definitely don't have a geometric horizon.
I didn't say we did. We do, we do, we do.
Oh, so now we do. Only 30 seconds ago, ladies and gentlemen, he made it plain we don't have a geometric horizon, and now we do, we do. Yeah, we don't. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Do you realize how many times you've destroyed your own argument today?
So what geometric position, moron? You don't have one.
We do, we do, we do.
Oh, so now we do.
Correct, we don't have a geometric horizon.
So what geometric position, moron? You don't have one.
We do, we do, we do.
Oh, so now we do.
Correct, we don't have a geometric horizon.
Wow. Unreal.
Unbelievable.
Well, it's just grappling mentally with the problem they have. They need, require, and must have a geometric horizon if we're to accept their sphere Earth geometry. It's just as simple as that. And we've disproven that. We don't have a geometric horizon. So that's the end of the argument for them. They haven't got sphere Earth geometry anymore.
We do.
No, that's right.
Of course we don't.
No, that's right. We don't have sphere Earth geometry. So we don't have sphere Earth geometry on a sphere. Oh, we do. So we do have sphere Earth geometry. No, we've disproven that. Oh, no, we don't have a geometric horizon. So we don't have a geometric horizon. We do. That's the problem they're facing. They need one and haven't got one. They do have one in their model. We don't have one in reality. We don't live on a sphere. If we did, we'd have a geometric horizon, and we don't have a geometric horizon. Ergo, their sphere Earth geometry is useless. We don't live on a sphere.
Meow, 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 meow.
You know, when you listen to something like that, you would almost think that it has to be scripted because it's so fucking ridiculous that they could just flip-flop like that. it almost seems like a comedy routine, man. It's so insane that that's a real conversation we're having with somebody in the real world who just continues to flip flop like that every 2 seconds.
Kind of, because they've always done it. When we talked about them reifying their model, well, we just didn't have the point as fine as it is now. Well, when we talked about them reifying a model, they're taking the concepts of geometry in their model and imposing them on the reality we see in a picture. Well, that's much more convoluted than saying the horizon's not geometric. We've just, what's the word? Focused our arguments. Now we're at the knife edge. That's it. We're at the tip of the spear now.
Can I clarify
we
too
do.
that this is the rumpus that we're talking about, right? He speaks so fast he doesn't even know what he's saying. And that's very apparent.
He's got to say that we have a geometric horizon in our existence, and now we've got this argument down to a fine point. He has to flip-flop between the two. They must have a geometric horizon. It's a geometric Earth curve calculation. We don't have a geometric horizon. That's simply not what we observe. There lies the contradiction. If we must have a geometric horizon, a physical sphere edge, because we're on a sphere, then we must have a sphere edge. We don't have a sphere edge because we're not on a sphere. It is really that simple. But you can only concisely do it this way when you've got a really shit-hot piece of evidence and a formulation of a logical consistency after a couple of years of debating how they reify a model. Because we don't now have to dilute how they're reifying a not actual location into a physical leading edge of a sphere. We can just say it in the consistency we say it now. With the consistency? Yeah, that's the right word. The concise nature of our argument is so focused that they've got to flip-flop back and forth on the exact same question. Yes, it's physical. No, it's not physical. Yes, it's actual and geometric. No, it's not actual. It appears to be moving. You know, they've got to do that because the argument's so refined. That's the word I was looking for. Our argument has become so refined that they flip-flop literally within moments of each sentence. Within the same breath. There you go.
And the more our arguments get refined, everybody's arguments get refined. And that's what they hate, because everybody's holding them, well, most everybody on this side who understands this argument is holding them to task on this horizon, and they don't like it.
Shout out to The Mind of God. So he recently released a video and I put lots of comments on it, and after reading them back I thought that sounds a bit harsher than I was hoping for. Nevertheless, he did a good video where he shows Rumpus's diagram side-on Muppet Vision with all sorts of lines curving and all sorts of mathematics and radius values and assumptions here, there and everywhere. Pictures of lighthouses bending, two versions of the lighthouse, one in its actual position, one in its holographic position, the tangent line to the geometric horizon that's our whole argument. He's got the whole shebango, and he shows this image and he's comparing it, with reference to the Black Swan. So he goes through a very long, convoluted explanation of how he understands it, but how it's not workable. The only mistake he makes is they're arguing we don't have a physical horizon. And it's like, no, their whole argument is that they do have a physical argument, they're just flip-flopping. Whether or not he recognised that mind of God, I don't know. But the point is, at the end of the video, he's just got a picture, and it's got at one side an eyeball, the other side the observation, in this case the Black Swan, and he's just got a flat line and one line between it, and he goes, it's like the most simple diagram ever, even still in Muppet Vision. It's just the observer looking at something. That's the explanation for us, right? There it is, we can see it. So after about 10 or 15 minutes of him dicing up his explanation for slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic projections of lighthouses from behind the reified edge of his geometric Earth curve, forced into existence by a non-existing reified position we don't have in the horizon, once that's all been explained, he then says, here's what we actually have. Observer. Observed. That's it. We just see it.
Nice. Shout out to Mind of God. Black Swan.
Nathan, request, please.
Yeah, go on.
Yes, in Master Bees, could you pull up the Flat Earth Infantryman's Creed, please, while I read it?
Flat Earth Infantry. Oh, yeah, I've got it.
Tell me when it's up.
Okay.
This is the Flat Earth Infantryman's Creed. Special note, the blue, infantry blue on the Flat Earth Infantryman's Creed. I digress. This is my black swan. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My black swan is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it as I master my life. Without me, my black swan is useless. Without my black swan, I am useless. Know it, live it, love it. Thanks.
Black Swan.
Black Swan.
Well, yeah, I saw a Jose's angle of attack video on your channel, Nathan. It's an excellent video. I'm glad you left that up there.
Yeah, Jose did a really good job.
It's a shame he let his brain calcify.
I don't know. I don't know what Jose's motivation was to flip-flop the way he did and even embrace the title. But there we go.
I don't know. He got a better camera. I think he had like a 50 times zoom or something like that. Sony, and got little Jaren and then fucked right off.
Shout out to Awaken Narrative. Says, happy birthday, Amanda Young. We think she's ace. We do. Shout out to Amanda Young. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Amanda.
I asked a question to QE on the last show, but I don't know if you were away for breakfast or something, QE. You around?
Yeah, I'm here.
So when you were formulating the modus tollens argument, while I'm certain you appreciate its strength in its logical consistency by nature, did you realise the actual effect that we've experienced would be anything like as devastating as it has been?
Yes.
So how did you envision it being?
I think I woke up the morning of 2 January. I think it was 2 January, and I was walking to the bathroom, and it hit me. So yeah, I envisioned it.
You should have said I slipped on my toilet. Came up with the flux.
Cracked my head and then came up with the flux capacitor. The reason
I'm sorry it wasn't as sexy as you wanted, but there you go.
The reason I ask is because at first when you put it to me, I said, it's a bit squirrely. And then, I don't know, 48 hours later, the same thing occurred. It suddenly hit me just how important it was and how strong it was and how devastating it was. And obviously from there on... I didn't put the modus
tollens to you. It was just a generalized statement that I made that you thought was squirrely.
That's correct, yes, and then you formulated it into modus tollens and put that to me, and instantly I recognised the importance and strength of it, and obviously started to punt it to others around me, including Anthony and Ranty and Arwin and Chocolate, and... Not Chocolate got it already, I'll take that back. But Anthony, so in the same way I sort of parroted it back to you, I get this bit out of the way first. So I'm like telling you just how important this is. Do you realise, John? And obviously the penny had only just dropped. Yeah. Right, and then... I'm trying to explain it to Anthony to kind of a lackluster response. And he's like, yeah, I see it's important, but about this gravity or whatever. And about 2 days later, Anthony was on the phone to me, really, really excited, saying, do you understand how important this is? They can't get out of it. And I'm like, yeah, I've got it, Anthony, I've got it. And so it's gone down the line. But I just wondered if you'd had the same experience.
I had, like I said, I had it walking to the bathroom when I woke up. I did. I said, it's over. I envisioned, I seen it. It was like in chartreuse white glowing in front of my eyes. Right in front of the bathroom.
where you fell and bumped your head and came up with the modus tollens, Black Swan.
Yeah, it's not sexy, but that's the way it was.
Now it's just the painful process of watching the penny drop for our opponents. The only question is, when the penny drops for them, what's their reaction? So far, it's just been... I don't know if the people who've actually argued it with us fully understand it. I'm undecided.
But Nate, do you remember when I asked, I was bugging Brenda about, we've never heard this version of your arguments about how we got all these horizons now and it's not physical, all that. And she did say, we've never heard, or something to the effect of there's never been an argument like this before. Something like that. Did you catch that?
Yes, I did. Yeah, she basically said this wasn't a scenario we needed to worry about before, or words to that effect.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it. It's like, okay. So you did have to change your status a little bit off of this argument. Good. Thanks.
I won't name and shame him, but I had a Skype message from somebody who posted a picture and said, here's the picture, here's a new black swan. And it wasn't, it was a white swan. Respond to them going, no, this is a white swan. The horizon's in front of... I won't say what it is because it will give away who it is, but whatever you're looking at, the horizon's clearly in front of that. That's your average, everyday, common garden white swan. So it just tells me that there's obviously people on our side that just simply don't get this argument yet. Hey ho.
The ballers definitely don't get it. Right? I told you it'll be 9. My first prediction was 9 months. Then I said, let's just round it out to a year. But a lot of flat earthers don't get it. Here's the problem. They're not reciting they're not reciting the modus tollens. You have to recite that argument. Don't just look at the photo. Don't do that. Recite the argument, then you'll get it. Thanks.
I'm glad you're going through it on all of your live shows. I think you've got the consistency down now. It can't get much more concise than has already been trimmed out, but the fact that you're going through it each time means that people are hearing it formulated as it should be. Mitchell from Australia, he got it. He just went out and you could say, he's just repeating the same thing. It's like, yeah, that's what's necessitated by a logical consistency argument, that you understand it and you don't start rearranging it.
Black Swan.
Have you had any more weaponized swans sent to you?
I'm going to take care of that on my own since the help that I hired isn't cutting mustard.
I thought my weaponized swan was very good, thank you.
Go ahead, put it up and take it and see get some feedback on it.
Get some chat feedback.
You're from Pittsburgh. Go ask Lynn Swan.
Need to credit the original.
Can't
Can't read his name. It says art by, and then I can't read his name. So I've obviously taken someone else's artwork and then just... Okay, there's mine. I thought that was a pretty good weaponized swan. No? Well, we'll also show 10th man's effort. I think that's pretty badass myself.
We need to get to...
I think Tough Man got it with the Hitman Swan.
Just lots of lols.
Black Swan.
It's normal because the globe died. It's the funeral. Now we're kind of like waiting for them to get over the shock, and then they'll be back.
So we're having a wake for the globe every day. That's what we're doing.
Yes, as one of our chat warriors, it's an awakened narrative for them.
Yep.
Got Chemo on the panel.
Oh,
Hey,
our
Spurs.
ghost, Brenda.
Can you hear Spurs? You've certainly had experience with this argument. I've seen your victories. That's right.
Bez is a troll.
A full room. If we're not even going to get a response from our own side, I'm going to start moving people to the after show, see if we can get some new guests in.
Chemo.
God Scalpel, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Sorry, it took a minute to unmute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm just trying to figure out who to kick
okay.
out and make room for other people in case there's some ballers desperately trying to enjoy the wake of their globe.
I can leave if you guys want. I can go listen. I'm just working in the background. I can go listen on YouTube.
That's fine.
If you want.
That's all good. I'm just going to boot Chemo to the after show. I'm sure he'll come back if he wants to.
He's a troll. He's a troll.
Who, Chemo?
Yeah. Thank God he's dropped the gas pressure point.
He's the mod, so he can get back in.
I was
going
going
to
to say, he's probably looking for gas pressure. Sorry, Rump. Sorry, right? Did I rumpus you?
No, it's all good. I think my message came across.
There you go. We've got at least one gap, so if somebody wants to join, they can. Shout out to Alexander. Find your message, see if I can read it. This is the XXI 21st century. How it is even possible to have a discussion regarding the nature of our world. If Earth is obviously a ball, we wouldn't discuss it. Yeah, thanks for the super chat, Alexander. I understand entirely. In other words, if the Earth was actually a sphere, it would be completely cut and dry. It'd be obviously and observably a ball. You'd have a geometric horizon obscuring things in the distance. It would be consistent and obvious. Things falling away from you with perspective and over a ball would be glaringly obvious. So being on a ball is something that it would dominate your life if it was the case. But it isn't in any way obvious. You're having to undo the nature of the flatness with justifications in geometry that we don't see in reality to believe that you live on a ball. So you're right, we wouldn't be arguing about it if the Earth was a sphere. The fact that it's the current paradigm and everyone believes that is the only reason we argue about it, not because it actually is. Thanks for the super chat, Alexander.
Yeah, I concur with that statement because I know I've said that plenty of times. If we lived on a ball, we would just live on a ball. We wouldn't be debating about it because it would just be what it is and it would be obvious, the same way it's obvious that it's flat and stationary. That's observable. That's obvious. So I agree with that statement.
Yeah, I mean, you know, normies say that they can see curvature left to right, standing on the fucking ground. Pardon my French.
Curvature of what? The geometric horizon they don't have anymore. Every argument, a la 2015 to present, is debunked by the Black Swan. There are no Earth curve arguments. So, I was going to talk to Chemo about his discussion that he was having with, I think it was that swordfish dude or whatever his name, Dean. And his segue, or one of his White Knight segues by the other panel members, was to start talking about the stars and where they disappear at the horizon. I'm like, so suddenly we're going to have a physical obstruction of Earth curve. Suddenly the edge of the sphere is blocking the horizon as we turn. No, don't these fundies get it? They can't, after the Modus Tollens argument, resort back to the old arguments. They're all dead now, all of them. It wipes them all out. I mean, that wasn't the case with the Isle of Man and highlighting how they've hijacked perspective. We were revealing the inner workings of the calculation when we did that. We didn't defeat the globe. It ended in a draw. We say, I see the lighthouse because it's there. They say it's a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic projection of the lighthouse from behind the reified Earth curve edge that we've now debunked. That edge doesn't exist. So all arguments that they previously had can't suddenly be reinstated and argued about elsewhere, because you've only got to say 2 words. Or whisper them.
Can I just correct that? Nathan, we didn't end up with a draw with the Alaman stuff. We devastated the idea that the curve calculators weren't demonstrating the curvature, because we pointed out and realized halfway through it that they were not addressing perspective. They weren't reducing the target heights as a function of distance.
That's fine.
That can't be scrubbed down as a draw.
No, that's fine. Their calculations don't include perspective. They're geometric, Anthony. That's perfectly acceptable. I'm just being a globehead, by the way, in case anybody didn't cotton on. That's acceptable. It's a geometric calculation, Anthony. It's based on the geometry. Obviously, the calculation itself isn't the picture. The picture's the picture. Call me Rumpus.
Back at him, Rumpus.
Right, but the geometry isn't perspective inclusive. We know this, Anthony. We're just talking about the geometry. Are we? We don't have a geometric edge. All bets are off. Ha ha ha!
Yeah.
I love it.
The other thing, Anthony, it was a draw. I'm being
Looks like we got a baller.
Go on. Go on.
Zanuck.
Oh,
Jesus, that's not a baller. That's a moron.
If you don't want him in here, I'll remove him or
No,
put
of
him
course
down
we do,
to
of course we
after
do.
show.
Where is he?
I just figured I'd announce him.
What's his new name?
So long as we don't
It's
start
not
talking
Zanuck.
Coriolis.
It's D entropy is DQ/T.
Oh, okay.
Over.
He named himself Entropy.
That's because he's
entropist.
losing energy.
That's because he's
Even though I
the
heard
world's
him,
most
I
well-renowned
saw him writing.
entropist.
Just round out this point before we get into it, Zanuck. So it is a draw because their argument in rebuttal is refraction, Anthony. Now their refraction is a geometric extrapolation, again based on the geometry, which is why debunking the geometry draws a close to that argument. Whereas prior to that, it's a draw. I'll restate the draw position. You can say their side of the draw is farcical, that's acceptable, but it doesn't change that it's a draw. They say slightly looming non-standard refraction high in a holographic projection of a lighthouse from behind the reified Earth curve edge based on the geometry. We say we just see it. That's a draw, as much as it seems absurd that it should be so, it is. The only necessity for me to call it a slightly looming non-standard refraction high in a holographic projection of a lighthouse from behind the reified Earth curve edge based on a begging the question, perspective hijacking, proof of nothing, curve calculator, and its geometry was because they had a rebuttal. Now their rebuttal may seem absurd, but it's still a rebuttal. As soon as you take away the geometry, they can't use the geometry to claim mathematical refraction to bend light around the geometry. They don't have it anymore. I know you know this, but I just want you to understand that we did definitely have a draw. Now we've won.
Unless, of course, Zanuck is going to tell us how that's not true.
Is the horizon the physical edge of a sphere, Zanuck?
Zanuck left. He went on deafen.
Oh,
Bummer. Oh well.
You went on deafen, huh?
Moving.
Well,
We'll move him out of here then. Make room for someone else.
Hopefully.
There we
I'll
go.
use that as an opportunity to round out the live show, actually. So I'll say, if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live on the Nathan Oakley channel, then this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you tuned in, smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Once again, stay tuned if you are watching on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, as the after show will start now. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Black Swan.
Black Swan, baby. Anybody,
sir.
anybody here? Can anybody here recite it? Any ballers?
Anybody here recite it?
The modus tollens, he means.
Any ballers here recite the argument claim brought against them?
It's interesting to watch Rumpus
on.
weasel his way around it.
They're not going to.
Come on now, we got truth, the truth, salt of the flat earth. I'm sorry, am I rumpusing?
No. I was just going to read it out if no one else did. Right, as there's been a gap. If P, then Q, not Q, therefore not P. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius 59 miles, that would be P, then every horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1.21 gigawatts, 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That would be Q, the geometric horizon, a la the Earth curve calculations. Not Q, horizon distance greater than 9.41 miles, that would be the Black Swan. Therefore, not P. Earth is not a sphere. Cut to Black Swan picture.
Black Swan. Awesome. I got a question. You know how ballers just go into repeat mode after you kill them, and they just repeat their same arguments, like the same day or next day.
Record mode, I call it.
Yeah. How what's the average baller memory length? What would you guess?
At the moment,
the reason why I ask is
one sentence. At the moment.
I just say the reason why I'm asking is you just stated the claim. So I'm just wondering if we need to wait like 5 minutes or 10 minutes when they forget it. We can ask them again.
Well, if this show is indicative, they're afraid to come on. The Black Swan is the Moab, mother of all bombs. They're just like drunk from the concussion if they weren't hit directly with it. What Nathan just read is their equation for 7/6R and their math to match their radius. It's not anything flat earthers put out. This is what they've had out forever. Now it's working against them because of the well-defined argument. So they're dead by their own radius.
That's correct, 10th man. That's exactly what this argument does. It uses their own math and their own claimed ball size to debunk the possibility of it being so. That's what this is. This is a debunk for all you ballers who are listening to me right now. This is not a flat earth proof, or it's not being utilized as a flat earth proof. Right? This is a ball killer.
Yeah, the idea of us living on a sphere becomes untenable based on this Black Swan image.
Now, Nathan, they're calling this an anomaly, but they don't understand that there's Black Swan images all around us, especially now that we're looking to define the horizon to their math. Before, we were answering why things disappear bottom up and not paying attention to their math in relationship to the horizon. Now, if we go back to all the images ever, and we can see the horizon is clearly behind a geometric measurement that their ball says it can't be based on the observer height. We can say, there's a Black Swan, there's a Black Swan. So we have Black Swans everywhere.
There are no geometric anomalies. Okay? Get that right. There
Isn't that
are
an oxymoron?
no geometric anomalies. Thank you.
Yes, that's correct.
Wouldn't that then
Absolute
make it maths is
oxymoron.
not reality if there was?
No, because you're describing, or let's be careful with my phraseology. You would be describing the actual physicality of the sphere you're looking over when describing the geometric horizon for that ball. It's a certitude of the physicality, and the physicality is measured or described with the geometry. So as soon as you start working outside of that convention with things looming, well then you're no longer describing the geometric horizon, and all of their mathematics is based around the singular geometric horizon that they must have. So upon changing it from a geometric certitude, i.e. you are on a ball, to a non-physical location, it removes the aspect of geometry that the model requires. Ergo, we are not on a ball with geometry. That is, fact, debunked from now.
Can I add that it doesn't necessarily debunk the fact that we live on a ball, because the math has been done to show that the actual, if this observation is correct, we would have to live on a ball with a radius of what was that, 10th man? Could you repeat that one more time?
No, that's no fair. I'll take back what I said. You're right. I immediately did what John told us not to, which is work outside the constraints of the modus tollens argument, and I didn't specify one particular detail, which I did read out prior to actually having this discussion, which is the constraints of the geometry. So 3959 miles if Earth is a sphere with the claimed radius. Now, this comes back to QE's statement earlier. There is no takebacks. There's no changing the radius. It's what it is if Earth is a sphere. So I appreciate your point, and I left the discussion open for you to make that. Kudos to you, Chocolate, and you're right. But within the restraints of the modus tollens argument, which is why it's important to state that. Because as soon as you start changing what you would have to change to make your statement correct, I will assume that the horizon in this image is still a physical location. It's still the geometric horizon. But by the mathematics of where it's located, would be on a ball the size of what they claim the light in the sky called Jupiter is scaled up to be in their imagination land of spheres in the sky. Well, that size of ball isn't the size of ball they say we're on. And it's locked down. You can't change that value. The R value's fixed.
Actually, if I may, I had a discussion with unorthodox that's going by black swan fallacy now. And he said last night to this very argument, okay, fine, we got our model wrong. I said, oh, okay, good. So then if that second oil well is 9.41 miles out and the horizon clearly behind it, let's just give me 10 miles if you would, then your model has to go from 3959 to 264,230 miles in radius. Are you willing to say that's what it is, since Jupiter's radius is only 40,000? Wouldn't that throw everything off?
Oh, wow. So a lot bigger than Jupiter is claimed to be when you reify it into a violation of the second law of thermodynamics in a vacuum. Yeah, man. I didn't know it was that much bigger based on this horizon, although Ben did do the maths. So I should have paid more attention.
Well, not only did Ben do the math, I sent those numbers to Adam. I said, Adam, will you check Ben's math? And it came up the same.
Just to reiterate the difference, for Jupiter radius, about 43,000 miles. Okay. The distance with the black swan done on a actual geometric, right.
Clear as mud.
Hey, Chocolate, you're chopping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you assume the geometry, which they must, if we're on a sphere Earth, because it's got sphere Earth geometry, then you can still extrapolate out that horizon in this picture to be a physical location. You just end up with an absolutely stonking enormous ball. and nothing would work in terms of any of the physicality they attribute to that ball in their model. None of it would work anymore. So, as I say, there's no takebacks with the R value. The R value is absolutely set in stone for their model reification of a sphere world. And their R value gives them the geometry, and the geometry of that R value gives them a horizon. And that horizon must be, and is, geometric if we are on a sphere. We aren't. We don't have a geometric horizon. It's the end of this argument. It's been debunked. Living on a sphere, debunked.
Well, now that the globe is dead, what new cause are we all going to take on?
90% of the Western world still are under the impression they live on a sphere, though. So while it might be excellent that we have in our arsenal an absolutely devastating argument that debunks the globe, well, it doesn't change the fact that there's still people literally listening to this right now. I say that, this is pre-recorded. In the future, when this is aired, that still, even though we've said all this, believe they live on a sphere. And that is still the current westernised rhetoric for their worldview about the nature of the ground they're standing on. So as much as it's excellent that we've now got a completely cast iron winning argument, the argument still continues.
Right. So now we need to go more on the offensive than we are and take it to them and get it noticed, because these bottom feeders have given up.
I agree. Going on the offensive does seem like a logical step next, on account of the fact that we've now got an indestructible battering ram. Or, let's be more accurate, a weaponised Black Swan.
Black Swan.
But that's what we're encouraging, right? We're saying to the people watching, and, you know, albeit with slightly tongue-in-cheek, I might be speaking out of turn, you know, giving hell to the people who alter the actual logical consistency proof that we're offering, because we want it to be as strong as it is and always will be. But ultimately, we want them to understand it and use it, you know, utilise it to devastating effect, as we have been doing. You know, we played out the clip with Rumpus earlier. Well, them having to say, yeah, of course we do have a geometric horizon. No, we don't have a geometric horizon. We do have a geometric horizon. You know, that's what you end up with them, double-speak flip-flopping, because they've got a geometric model that they say Earth is. And we've debunked it having geometry in the form of the horizon. Their leading edge of a sphere, the thing they'll draw a tangent to, the thing that's supposed to be blocking boats curving at altitude, all those things that they ultimately claimed for the last 3 or 4 years are now in the toilet.
Down the toilet with no Coriolis.
That's maybe our next question. How do we peddle it out to our own side so they can appreciate the devastating effect? That's going to be the thing we'll have to consider. Because clearly, you know, judging by the general demeanour of the Discord panel, no one's challenging us anymore. They've watched Rumpus have his ass handed to him and lie through his back teeth, watched Brenda lie through her back teeth, watched everybody who's denied the position of the horizon on the image on screen right now claim that there's more than one horizon, violate the law of non-contradiction. Everyone's watched that now. So if you're an underling of these morons, you're never going to come anywhere near this. So, you know, that should speak volumes, rather than going, oh, what do we do now? It's like, well, that's the overall effect that you want. People to be literally left in dumbfounded silence at this argument, because there is nowhere to go. They're checkmated.
Well, I got an idea of how to do it.
And what
Let's start inviting the purveyors of Flat Earth, who have shows and podcasts and YouTube channels, to come live with us on this show, and we go over the modus tollens properly, and they have a set subscriber base so that they can take it there, and it could be duplicated without changing it to keep the logical consistency of it. One one show host at a time. You'll be able to cover a lot of people.
So yeah, our
That's a
appeal
good
is to
idea.
those people.
That's not a half bad idea.
I agree.
So really now, no ballers in here have any balls? Pun not intended, but funny.
It's been out there long enough for us to make the same conclusion drawn by QE when he formulated the argument. You know, this is a devastating argument to which there is no rebuttal. At that point, once it's recognised here amongst ourselves, and the rebuttals have been and gone and failed, and left the purveyors of those rebuttals in a position where they have to literally lie in the same breath, well, then, you know, that message is clear. There is no rebuttal. We knew that anyway. You know, we've offered the opportunity to give rebuttal, but now it's moved this forward and explained to people how it is that the idea of being on a sphere is debunked. It's untenable. We don't have a geometric horizon, etc., etc.
And
Nathan,
you don't even have to.
Darkstar
You don't even have to.
Nathan, Darkstar
Well,
posted an argument for modus tollens in the chat.
You hear, Darkstar?
I'd be gobsmacked if he was.
You actually
Or
hear?
rather, if he spoke.
Can't see him in here.
Wants to put money on if he speaks or not.
I can't put his argument here forward for him. So if he wants to put it forward, he's welcome to. But he's not here.
Anyway, until he comes on, if he should come on,
John,
if word gets around that there's an argument that destroys the ball immediately, what flat Earth talk show host or YouTube and podcast wouldn't want to know how to correctly do it? I think all of them would want to know. So we've got the #1 globe killer. We're ready to freely share it and give it. We should invite them starting next week on the show one by one, and start with Nathan Thompson. He's already doing it, but he'll be a good one to start with.
Well, if you guys want it shared, I can share it, but you guys have to do the talking and reading.
Yeah, what?
No, he's invited them to come on live.
He said, nah, it speaks for itself.
No.
Thanks for the invitation, though.
I was talking about Darkstar.
No, okay. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, show it. What is it?
All right, give me a sec.
I got it too. 1 second.
Any
All
chance
right.
someone
You're
in
going
the
down
Hangout-
to claims.
Oh,
He's
hold on
going
1 second,
down
John.
to-
Can someone in the
Oh,
Hangout bring
God.
it up from Discord? Is that a possibility?
I just did.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
in Master B.
It's okay. I've got it. Yeah, brilliant.
This is a train wreck. The second premise is false. No, it is not. It is not false. It's based on geometry, for crying out loud. You're a moron, sir.
Hold on. Second premise is false. Well, isn't the second premise that the Earth would be a sphere?
The
No,
second
every-
premise
oh, I see.
is
No,
every
no.
horizon distance. Jeez, oh man.
I've
Go
got it.
ahead.
I've got it on screen now. So yes, you're correct. It's the second statement. Every horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's factually accurate. A la their model.
Exactly.
What
It's
is he
geometry.
trying to say?
You can't get around it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Or are you just going to wait for me to talk? Go ahead. It's open. Fuck.
Black Swan.
What was his statement? What's he trying to say?
He opens with the second statement is false. Well, the second statement asserts the standard model geometry. Well, if he wants to say the second premise is false, i.e. the geometry of their sphere Earth is false, I'll accept that. Yeah. So you're saying the second premise is that Earth has a geometry with the values they set out? Yeah, I agree with that. The second premise is definitely false. We don't have Earth-based geometry because we don't have a geometric horizon. So it's not a problem. It's only a problem for the person that's asserting that second premise, which is absolutely the standard rhetoric. And that would be you, Darkstar. The second premise is the basis of your model, and you're saying that second premise is false? Yeah, I'd agree. So let's not get too hung up on him saying that the premise of the modus tollens is incorrect. His assertion is the second premise is false. Well, it's being disproven with the modus tollens. So if the second premise is false, we don't have geometry as laid down by the standard model. Yeah, I'd agree. We don't. Earth's not a sphere.
It's actually worse than that.
Just one more point.
Because the second premise...
Just one sec.
Because this...
Just one sec. You just got to recognise that any defence to this, because it is undebunkable, any defence that on the surface appears like it's presenting a problem is 99 times out of 100 going to actually be a concession. So he's saying the second premise is false. The second premise is Earth-based geometry. So thank you for declaring Earth-based geometry in the standard model to be false, according to you. It's a problem with modus tollens. Oh, really? What's that? The Earth-based geometry as laid out by all of your models for a sphere Earth? Yeah, that's false. So just recognise this for what it is. A concession. Welcome to Flat Earth, Darkstar. You're right. The second premise is false. We don't have Earth-based geometry. Correct. Welcome to Flat Earth.
That didn't quite go as expected, eh?
Nope.
Wow.
No, it gets worse.
So we got Roger
worse.
MC. I'm sorry, real quick. We got Roger MC in the chat who says, LOL, undebunkable, so that would be pseudoscience.
Nobody's asserted it's science. Let's just address that.
No, he's missed it. Hold on. It only has to be falsifiable, number one. And number two, this isn't a scientific proof. He's a moron.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Number two. Exactly.
Yeah, they've got this issue where everything they claim to be proof, they strap on the word science to it. And we ask them for science for their bullshit science that they've claimed, and they don't have anything, so therefore it's deemed pseudoscience. In this instance, we offer up a logical consistency. And they go, well, where's the scientific evidence? And we go, you should look around and go, nobody said anything about science. What are you talking about? Just because every bullshit claim you make from every single field of pseudoscience used to assert the ball Earth says science says so afterwards, doesn't mean that we've done that. You know, using our very concise debunking of your bullshit assertions of science doesn't mean that we've fallen into the same trap and decided to just declare this as science. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people in our arena who do that all the time when making claims about flat Earth. They'll say it's science too. We definitely don't do that here.
Wait, so is that another change to the narrative? Because I thought by end of 2019, science didn't prove anything according to the ball model. So what's going on?
Yeah, they've recognised that we utilise the question of science when it's asserted to devastating effect, tried to flip that on its head and use it against us when we haven't claimed science. We don't have to bullshit about what we assert. You do. So I've had Mick West on the show tell me that the geometric Earth curve model is scientific. That's what he said. So if that's what your pseudoscience priest says, I'll throw that back at you and say, what's the actual scientific validity? What's the cause and effect that's been established? And there isn't any. But we don't call our bullshit model that we don't have science. Mick West does. Says he's communicating science to you with his model. So you can be damn sure we'll ask you for your scientific validity because you're calling models science. Yeah? Science communicator? No. Bullshit pseudoscience salesman. That's what Mick West is. But he damn sure is there telling people he's communicating science to them, doesn't he now? That's why we ask him for his scientific validity.
Then he denied it. Then he said he wasn't a science communicator after his wiki reference said he was a science communicator.
But that's why we ask for science. That's why we ask. But you asking us when we haven't claimed science, we haven't pointed a model like Mick West and said, yeah, that's science, and then said, I'm communicating as it's science, because I'm a science communicator, there's lots of use of the word science by these wanker, pretender clown, pseudoscientists. So we have them over a barrel by actually asking them for their science, which they don't have. But we haven't claimed that. We're not pretender clowns justifying bullshit by saying it's science like you fundies who claim you live on a sphere do.
May I finish what I
It's like, go ahead, Tom. Go ahead, brother.
I'm trying to get it in.
Go for it. It's yours, man.
That's what she said.
All right. Listen, this statement here from Dark Star. Huey wasn't dumb when he quoted Andrew Thomas Young. That's from your subject matter expert. And by the way, that reference there of the 1.225 of the square root of the observer, that makes up your 7/6R, so you got to throw that out. That makes up your radius, so you got to throw that out. That's the basis of all your refraction. You got to throw all that out. And that's the basis for your Earth curve calculator. So you got to throw all that out. So, Dark Star, if you say the second premise is wrong, you just threw out your whole kit.
Yes, precisely. Welcome to Flat Earth. The second premise, being Earth and its sphere geometry, is wrong according to Dark Star. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Hey, before you close out, Nathan, give me 30 seconds.
Okay, this show goes out on Saturday, just so you know.
That's okay. I just don't want you to close out before. That doesn't mean you have to close out now. I just want right at the end.
I was going to, but go ahead.
I
Wait,
had
wait,
to. I had to.
before you do.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, dude. Real quick, right? Just if you could just check the live stream, for English language teacher, she's posting against your. She's posting in opposition. Excuse me. To your Black Swan. Over.
I'm happy to keep the show open a bit longer if there's an opposition come late in the day. But go ahead, QE. Hopefully without interruption this time.
Are you closing out?
No, based on what Travis has just said, maybe not. But we'll find out after you've made whatever point you're going to make. You've got us on tenterhooks at the moment.
Yes. Can you pull up the Flat Earth Infantryman's Creed again for me, please, from Master B?
Maybe.
It's just a couple. Just scroll up. It's right.
Where the hell is it? I can't find it. Just give me a
right
second.
near the bottom.
Give me a sec. Okay.
Yeah, you got it up on screen?
Yep.
Yes?
Yes. Go ahead.
It's a struggle, man. All right. The Flat Earth Infantryman's Creed in infantry blue. This is my black swan. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My black swan is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it as I master my life. Without me, my black swan is useless. Without my black swan, I am useless. Now, by Monday, this is your homework. You have to memorize this like first general order. Okay? Because I'm going to be challenging everyone with this. You better know it, right? Or there'll be consequences.
Is it okay that my black swan and your black swan are the same?
Yes.
That's not a bit weird.
No.
Okay.
See Full Metal Jacket when he says, "Part ho, pray," and everyone has their black swan in bed at port arms. Jeez.
Okay, so by analogy, the black swan would be a make and model, and my screenshot of it is my version of my make and model of that gun. But the fact that there's lots of copies of the black swan would just make the analogy that they're all the same make and model gun, right?
Yes.
Just got to get these analogies straight. Maybe I'm being fussy. I just want to square everything away. Okay, right, Travis.
Yes, sir.
So, do you want to read out this challenge. Is that possible?
Yes, just a moment here.
Is it somebody that's actually here?
Righteous. Whoever English language. Yeah, geez, oh man, what a knucklehead baller. There's 3. Can you screenshot that and put that up for him?
You there, Righteous?
Hello?
Yep, he's doing it. Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
I'm sharing it, and I'm going to open these in each window. Give me a sec.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, so we look at the first one.
Yeah, the middle one is a Wikipedia.
Right, that's it. Got it up on screen.
Wait, do I got to read
That's
it?
the last slide. Oh my god, man. There's 3 slides. All right, that's it. Is the last slide. So she's got 3 slides, or she or he or whoever it is.
Okay, so starting with hold on numbnuts.
Looks like the first slide.
Hold on. So
Which one are we? We're starting with the first, right? I got them on separate screens, so they're not at the same time up on screen. Do you want them both at the same time, or all 3?
Go ahead and put the first slide up, the one that says hold on numbnuts. You know, go from the first to the second to the third.
I thought the numbnuts one was the last one.
It is. It is the last one.
Yes, the last one. So which one do you want on?
That's
word.
It is first. The second one has all of the all the actual citation or reference there, and then the third one is the hold on numbnuts.
So the knucklehead English language teacher inverted them. What a clown!
Oh, so you've seen this before?
So numbnuts is on screen.
Oh
Go
my
ahead.
god. Okay, let me explain. Hold on. So at 11:16, the that's it slide was first. At 11:21, hold on numbnuts was first. Do you get my drift?
Okay, so let's just get it clear. Hold on. I don't know if Righteous can pop any of them on screen. Which one do you want first, John?
I don't know. It's their argument. I mean, they don't have.
He's fine. I'll decide.
Is he talking to John?
I'll decide then, John.
Who's he talking to? Is your name John? What I'm trying to say is the person who posted these is a yellow spine coward because they can't come on and defend this nonsense. So I don't know which one's first. They inverted them.
I don't know if it matters. I don't know what y'all setup is, but nobody in Discord can hear John, so I don't know if he's coming through on your recording either.
Yeah, he's coming through on the recording.
I can hear him loud and clear.
I can hear him loud and clear in Discord.
Refresh, mate. Anyway, guys. So we'll start with hold on numbnuts. We've got it on screen.
That's misleading. We can't see a geometric horizon. We see an apparent or visible horizon. Really? What is the definition of the geometric horizon? Right? This is preposterous, man. These people don't know what they're talking about. The geometric horizon, National Geographic, I say again, the local horizon, also called the geometrical horizon, is the visible boundary between the earth and the sky. There goes your entire argument right there. It's over.
Can I add something?
Go.
Again, recognize the embedded disclaimer, or whatever you call it, concession. So there's an embedded concession in here. Let's just read it. We can't see a geometric horizon, full stop. Yeah, that'd be correct. Welcome to Flat Earth. We can't see a geometric horizon. Well, your model requires one.
Yeah. We see an apparent or visible horizon. Listen, apparent horizon is excruciatingly, painfully redundant because the horizon is defined as a parent. So, English language teacher, you need lobotomized. Thanks.
Oh, also, welcome to
Yeah,
Flat
the
Earth.
rebuttal
We
is-
can't. Our whole argument is we can't see a geometric horizon, even though being on a ball would necessitate that we see a geometric horizon. Now, coincidentally, your entire side for the last 2.5 years of this debate have been arguing that we do have a geometric horizon. It bends at altitude and blocks boats and buildings in the distance. So you've always claimed up until now that the premise of your religion stands true, and we do have a geometric horizon. It's blocking boats and bending at altitude. But as per your disclaimer, hold on, numbnuts, we can't see a geometric horizon. Yeah, that'd be right. That'd also be our argument, and it'd also crap all over your geometric Earth curve reification, because it's geometric and has a horizon that we don't have in reality. According to you, we can't see a geometric horizon. Bye-bye, ball.
The response is appeal to ridicule.
Appeal to
no.
ridicule. Really? What was the first sentence in this knucklehead's argument?
Hold on, numbnuts.
Appeal to ridicule. You need to be institutionalized. Thanks.
Yeah, their first statement was a ridicule statement. So, appeal to ridicule? What, when hold on numbnuts is your first statement, followed by our argument read back to us? We can't see a geometric horizon. Yeah, that's our argument. You'd absolutely have to be able to see one, and it's been claimed to be blocking things in the distance since we all got here. It's claimed to be the basis of what we're standing on. Having a geometric horizon's pretty important if you're arguing for a ball, but according to this numbnuts, we can't see a geometric horizon. Yeah, that's right. That's our whole argument.
Oh, the English teacher just changed her name or his name
Yeah.
in Discord server. Yep. The base, the knuckle dragger, the dregs come out. Clown.
My opportunity
Miss
to round
Rolling
out the
again.
show. Anything else anyone wants to add? No. Well, with that,
Welcome to Flat Earth.
yeah, well said. With that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, for hopefully smashing the super chat, join button, liking, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. If you want to see these shows at the weekend running live, then you need to check out Nathan Oakley channel. There's a link in the info box below this video. I've been Nathan Oakley. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G Plus panels for making the after show possible, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!